This is the third part of section 1.6 on rational expressions, and tonight we're going to be adding and subtracting. So by the end of this tutorial, you should be familiar with adding rational expressions and subtracting rational expressions. Now, remembering that rational expressions are fractions, you must have a common denominator in order to add these together. So given this rational expressions that I have to add together, I notice that each of them have a denominator of 2x plus 5. So we can just continue with the addition process. So this ends up looking like, I'm just going to put it all together, 2x squared minus 4 plus x plus 3, all the numerator, over the denominator of 2x plus 5. Then if we can combine like terms, we're going to. And I notice that in my numerator I have a negative 4 and a positive 3. And when I combine those, that makes the numerator 2x squared plus x minus 1, all over 2x plus 5. Now, remember, I cannot divide this 2x squared by the 2x only. I have to factor, if I can, this numerator. So here I've drawn my little graphic organizer. I know that I have to have a product of negative 2 and a sum of 1, and the numbers that make that possible are positive 2 and negative 1. So that's what I'm going to split that middle term with when I factor. And so this becomes, just kind of coming to the side here, 2x squared plus 2x minus 1x minus 1. And now when I factor that, I factor 2x out of the first two terms, factor by grouping, and I get x plus 1. And I'm trying to get another factor of x plus 1 from the second two terms. So if I factor out a negative 1, that gives me x plus 1. So there you see the two groups where those factors came from. And now, returning to my problem, it looks like this. I've got 2x minus 1 times x plus 1 all over 2x plus 5, my denominator. And then I look for any factors that I can cancel. Remember, we talked about what that cancel word really means. And I noticed that there are none that I can do that with. So this is my final answer. It's going to be the same type of process for subtracting. You have to have a common denominator. And I look at the denominators of each of these rational expressions and I notice that they are not the same. So in order to make these denominators the same, what I can do is I can multiply this denominator by x, because that's what's in the other one. That means I have to also multiply the top by x. And then on this one I can multiply by an x squared minus 4 and an x squared minus 4 in the numerator also. And so here's what we have now. So we have an x squared times x minus a, I guess I need to put this kind of in brackets, minus a 1 times x squared minus 4, which is just x squared minus 4, all over x times x squared minus 4. Alright, now what I do is combine like terms if possible. And you should be combining only in the numerator, whether you're adding or subtracting. So remember, we have to apply this negative to both of those things when we're combining like terms. Well, this term right here gives me x cubed. Then I have minus x squared and a positive 4. None of those terms would combine. All over x times x squared minus 4. My next step would generally be to see if this trinomial would factor, but it will not. So this then would be my final answer. Got a couple shout outs tonight. First of all, I want to send a shout out to Viviana Sanchez, because last week They made some cookies in her home ec class, cooking class, and I got to taste it, and it was scrumptious. The next shout out is to Colby Franklin, because I need him to be less dramatic. I'll see you tomorrow.